Explain your statement that order to truncate democracy will no longer be tolerated. Serap to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So Serap have reacted again to that statement made by Tinubu during his Democracy Day address to the nation, that court orders that will truncate democracy will no longer be tolerated. That statement need to be x-rayed, and he needs to provide explanation. Okay, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project Serap has told Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to explain one of the statements that he made in his Democracy Day speech. Continue. Okay. Tinubu on Democracy Day addressed the nation, and while doing so, he said unnecessary and illegal orders issued to truncate or abridge democracy will no longer be tolerated. I don't understand. So mean that he's going to fight the judiciary? Mean that whatever that comes from judiciary must pass through his table for vetting before it is implemented? Or how is it going to influence the judiciary and to cause all of this hula baloo? Okay, so Serap has asked him to explain it, and he actually needs to explain it. That is the truth. He needs to explain it. The statement has been given several interpretations since he made it. Serap has asked the president to make clarifications on the statement in a post made by the group on Twitter. The group said it was wrong for him to have regarded any court order as unnecessary or illegal. That is the truth. So Tinubu should clarify his statement that unnecessary illegal orders issued to truncate or abridge democracy will no longer be tolerated. It is anti-ethical. Okay? It is anti-ethical to the rule of law and judicial independence to describe any court order as unnecessary or illegal. And that is why a lot of Nigerians are saying that he is targeting the Presidential Election Tribunal to see that their judgment is influenced, to see that they don't affect him. Okay? Since he made this statement, a lawyer and a legal practitioner has actually challenged him to say that he's issued a threat straight to the judiciary. Okay, Frank Shaibu and Atiku of PDP have also reacted to this statement and said it's a threat to the judiciary. And every average Nigerian is seeing it as a threat again to the targeted at the ongoing election tribunal, so that they will not bring out any judgment that is unfavorable to him. Because first of all, he has no power or any authority to determine which court order is legal or illegal. And he also has no power to influence court judgment. He also has no choice or no power to choose which court order to obey and which not to obey. Okay? The only problem we have in Nigeria is that the president is almost all over everywhere, influencing the legislators and the judiciary. And that is why who is there? Who is the Chief Justice of the Federation? The CJN. Okay, Ariwola is in his pocket. Who is going to be the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, the AGF? Is probably going to be in his pocket as well. Okay, so the same thing has happened in the past administration, and this kind of thing will continue to happen. So the question is, what are we going to do to correct it? Okay, what are we going to do to correct it? So Serap has called on Tinubu to come out and explain what he meant by that statement, because since he made the statement, there has been social unrest, political unrest in Nigeria, and everybody is arguing, interpreting it in different ways. But it was very clear, that it was a subtle threat to the judiciary and subtle threat to the election tribunal that is currently sitting and talking about discussing the challenge that Atiku and Peter Obi has put forward, challenging Tinubu's victory. I'm sure he's not having peace. I'm sure he knows that there's possibility that the court judgment might come out unfavorable to him. Just like everybody is optimistic, saying that he's sitting there temporarily, he will be the first president that the court will sack. The court has sacked governors in the past. They've not sacked president. But he might be the first president that the court will sack. I'm sure he's doing everything to influence the judges the justices that are in that court case to be sure that they don't issue a judgment that is unfavorable to him. He will be doing day and night movement, underground movement to influence them. I tell you, he will pay, doesn't mind pay them with whatever we have in the Nigerian treasury, but provided he retains his seat as the president of Nigeria. But let's see how that goes, because we know that this case, the evidences that are coming to court, that Peter Obi and Atiku are bringing to court, is so overwhelming that APC right now does not have peace. They can't even celebrate their victory because they know that their victory is ill-gotten and they are likely going to lose it. In fact, they will obviously lose it if the judiciary should do their job uninfluenced. And that is why Tinubu is coming out in his address to make all these statements that are direct or indirect threats to the judiciary, so that they will warn themselves, they will caution themselves to make sure that they don't issue any judgment that will be negative or that will be unfavorable to him as the current sitting president, meaning that he's not ready to relinquish that seat. Meaning that if the judiciary comes out that his election or his victory was illegal, he's not going to obey it. He's going to declare court judgment illegal. That is what I see there. They're even going to tell him to leave the office. He will not. He will make sure that we scatter everything, do everything that, whether right or wrong, to remain in power. He has already given us the signal that there's a judgment that will come that about it. If it is unfavorable to him, he's not going to obey it. And apart from the election tribunal, even if he succeeds in continuing as the president of Nigeria, he's also telling us here that he's not going to obey every court order or every court judgment. That is what we are seeing here. The same thing that has happened in past administration. That is what we are seeing here. And that is unfortunate that this is happening in Nigeria, that the president will have power over the rest arms of government, influence the activities and the leadership of other arms of government, rather than operating independently, rather than operating in autonomy and allowing other arms to be in autonomy. Right? It's influencing everywhere. It's quite unfortunate. And that has happened in the past, like I said earlier. Past presidents have done it, and the military government have done it, and that is why they are doing their own. But will Nigerians allow this to continue to be? No. So this is what Serap is saying. We are waiting to see how Tinubu is going to respond to Serap's request that he should come out and explain to Nigerians what he meant by any court order that truncates democracy will no longer be tolerated. Nigerians are waiting to hear from him, and let's hope that he will come to speak to Nigerians directly, or he will send some of the PAs or representatives to come and speak to Nigerians about it and explain what that statement means to Nigerians. Because until he comes out to explain it, I tell you, Nigerians will continue to interpret it in different ways, continue to see it in different ways, and the statement itself has created negative impression about Tinubu, about APC government, whether they remain in power or not. Okay? They have proven that obeying rule of law is not in their dictionary. So, Serap, we have seen your question. We are waiting for Tinubu and his team to respond.